You know that not all people are gamers?
Sadly, I do know that. I am aware.
So what to play with those people?
How about these?
So in this video we're gonna draft different games for non-gamers, and we're gonna do it in 6 different categories.
They say, oh, I don't like board games. They haven't played these yet. Also, we're gonna pick them in a very unique way. We're gonna draft them, and once we pick a game, we can't ever pick in any of our drafts ever again.
Never ever. So whenever you watch any of our draft videos, you will have unique games, except when Giannis cheats. He does that a lot of times.
I've never picked the same game. I've
Twice.
sometimes
Already twice.
No, have I?
Yeah, already twice. First category is
Strategy game. Who goes first?
1, 2, 3.
My pick for the strategy game that you can play with non-gamers is Castles of Tuscany. It is still like a strategy game. It has rules, quite a bit of rules maybe for a light game. But on your turn, you just pick 1 of 3 things to do. Either play cards, draw cards, or take a tile. So it's very simple, and you have your own board. You place down tiles. Each time you place down a tile, it activates a special ability and scores you points. Super simple. But which tiles to pick? Should I draw more cards and try to get the right ones? Or I can play 2 of the same color to make it any color. So there's still choices, and you do kind of plan ahead. For non-gamers, a perfect strategy game that is not too long, not too heavy, but strategic, and everyone I played it enjoyed it.
The simplest game that I could call strategy for me was Cascadia.
That's a pretty good choice, actually.
Yeah. The whole idea is that you collect tiles with different areas, forests, mountains, and sands, and you try to build your map where animals can live. And the better you have these combos, the more points you get. And it's very, very simple. The rules are simple, all the actions are simple, but there are a lot of decisions that you need to make. And they are fun decisions, quick decisions that non-gamers can do. And also people who have played too much board games at this point.
Yeah.
Absolutely love this game. Perfect fit for this.
Moving on to the next category, which would be card game?
Card game. So I'm gonna go with an oldie, but it's Bonanza. It's a simple card game from the 90s.
In board game years, millenniums ago.
Economic game that is all about planting beans, and you have different types of beans. Each of them give different amounts of money, but some are more difficult to plant and so on. But it's quite simple, yet really fun.
If you like trading in Settlers of Catan, then this basically takes just the trading part out. It's less than an hour. It's a really quick card game. Yeah. Mine's gonna be called Spicy. So it's basically like a bluffing card game. You're trying to get rid of cards. You play cards in a pile face down. Somebody starts. For example, he says 3 pepper. Then the next player has to play a higher card than the previous one, but he can lie. But if he does lie, you have to guess what is he lying about. Is he lying about the pepper or about the number? Because you can only challenge one of those. 5 pepper. And then it might be a pepper but not a 5, but it might be a 5 not a pepper, and you don't know. But that's the basic premise, and it's a simple, nice card game where you never believe anybody.
Like Sheriff of Nottingham, just a very, very simple version of it.
Or Cockroach Poker if you play that one. So next category is a party game. I have a really weird, unique kind of that could have fit in the card game, but I moved it to the party game. It's called Startups. It's from this Japanese company called Oink Games, which have these little small boxes, slightly bigger than Matchbox. So each player starts with a certain amount of money, which will turn into points. So for example, if I have 3 cards of a company, because all the cards are like shares in the company, and you have 1 card in that company and another player has 2 cards in that company, I have the biggest amount of shares in this company, so I would get 1 point from you and 2 points from that player. And on your turn, all you do is you draw a card and then decide where to play a card. You can play it in front of you, and then everybody knows, you're going for this company. Or you can play it in the middle, and then everybody can take that card if they want to. So it's quite forward, but you're trying to figure out, okay, so if he's going for that company, and I have 1 card of that, I don't need it because I'll just give him points, so I need to get rid of it. But he only has 2 of those, and I have 1. Maybe I should go for that company. And it plays 3 to 7 players, and 1 game takes 15, max 20 minutes to play. So that's my party game.
I'm going with Coyote, but it's a really quick game where you have a card stuck to your forehead with a specific number that you don't know, but everybody else sees what is that number. In this game, you are bidding, but you don't want to go over a specific number. You know all the numbers on other foreheads and the numbers on the table except yours. Not knowing and everybody staring at your forehead and smirking.
Because on your turn you can either bid or call. It's a really fantastic game.
Yeah, really quick, simple, but fun game. That's what you need in parties.
The one that gets them. This is a game you've played with non-gamers and they go like, wow, I'm getting this. And then next time you call them, hey, do you want to come over and play this game with us? And they go like, no, we bought our own and we're playing with ourselves and we don't need you anymore. Anyway, Quacks of Quellenberg. Yes, it got the Gamers Award of the Year, which is ridiculous because it's not a gamer's game at all. It's a simple game where you're building a pool of tokens. Just you have your bag, you have tokens there, and then you pull them out and place them on the board. So you're like trying to go farther and farther and farther on this track, which is like your pot, which you're brewing and mixing. But there's a certain type of ingredient. If you have more than 7 total sum of it on the tokens, you blow up. And that's basically it. You just pull tokens out of your bag and then decisions are just which ones. And it's not a fairly quick game, but I'd say it's around an hour. But just the excitement of it all. I haven't seen anybody saying, oh, this is a horrible game, we'll never play it again. No, everyone likes it and a lot of people immediately buy it.
I'll have one game that we have talked a lot about lately. Specifically, you have talked so much about it that I'm getting nauseous about it. But
Canopy.
Which is Forgotten Waters.
I thought it's Canopy.
When you will bring it to the table, people will be really surprised about what board games can actually do. In short, it's a story game. It's a quick-paced story game that takes quite a while to play. It's quirky, it's funny, with voiceover.
Yeah, very good voiceover.
Forgotten Waters is just a story adventure game where you are a crew of pirate ship and each have their own destinies and their own things to do, but also you have to keep the ship in check, so it's a cooperative, not really game.
Yeah.
It's all about quick decisions and funny story.
Swiss Army knife?
Swiss Army knife.
How I define this type of game, it fits almost all the categories for non-gamers. It can be played at party, has simple rules, doesn't take a lot of space, you can play with your grandma.
I'm picking Welcome Back to the Dungeon. You can pull it out and play whenever, wherever, almost with anyone. Except my grandma, to be honest. This game is about going into a dungeon and killing monsters. Players play a character that goes into a dungeon and you better be prepared. And how those monsters get there? Well, you draw a card on your turn and either put it into a dungeon, so you will probably need to fight it later on, or you can just throw it out, but that will cost you some equipment, so you get weaker and weaker.
Yeah, and each equipment kind of helps specifically against certain amount of monsters or type of the monster.
On your turn, either add a new monster there or pass. That means you're out of this round, you can't win it, but you will for sure not die, which is also a good thing. And the last one standing in that circle must go in and fight the monster. If he defeats them, then
he gets a point.
He gets a point. Whoever wins at least 2 dungeons, or who's the last one standing. It's a very small box. It's a quick thing. It's easy to explain. So maybe even you could play it in an airplane, or
you can play it in an airplane. I don't think you can play mine. It also is a small box that you could take with you. Mm-hmm. It also can be played with kids and grown-ups, grandmas and grandpas.
Can your cat play it?
I can't wait to play it with my cat. But also every other family member can play it. It's a small box. It's called Deep Sea Adventure. It's a simple push your luck game where you're playing divers, but you share the pool of oxygen. So you're... What are you laughing? What is so funny?
No, continue. Cheater.
No, it was not. I checked.
You have drafted it.
I have not. I just checked the list. Then it's not added to the list.
Well, you didn't add it there as well, so...
Well, it's not my fault that I didn't... Oh, wait, it is. Yeah. Anyway, you are divers, and you have a shared pool of oxygen, and you're trying to go down to get the treasure. And the farther down the sea, you get better treasure. But the thing is, when you start carrying treasure, you're slower. It's harder to get back. You're spending more oxygen. And if you don't get back, you lose all the treasure.
Oh, I'm having this deja vu moment.
Shut up. Deep Sea Adventure. Perfect Swiss Army knife game. Small. Can play with anybody. Fun. I love it. You love it.
It's a good game.
And clearly, our other drafts that might or might not have it, love it.
Wild card.
Yes, you're not gonna love my wild card as well. She hated this. I always feel like I'm not doing wild cards wild enough.
Alright.
Yeah. So this time, I am going to pick a game that I have not played. Is that wild enough for you?
That's pretty wild, man.
It's called Long Shot the Dice Game. This is a game that plays 3 to 8 players. It plays less than 30 minutes. Bidding game, racing game with dice rolling and writing. And I've played the original board game that that is based on, and the board game was fantastic for everybody, non-gamers alike. And if this keeps the feel of it just shorter, it's a winner. But we'll probably review it at some point and then you'll know. But I think that is a perfect pick for a non-gamers game with a lot of people, a lot of stuff happening, yet accessible, simple.
So I'm going wild with this one as well.
Okay.
And a short story before is that actually I have found that for non-gamers, the best games that get you into the hobby in general is actually heavier games.
What? No.
Yeah.
This is a non-gamer draft.
Yeah, exactly.
And we want to get them into the hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Not out of the hobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then your pick is?
My pick is Ark Nova.
Okay, let's try that again. So this is a non-gamer draft.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We want people to easily access the hobby and get into the hobby.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your pick is?
Ark Nova.
Go on. Just.
This is a heavy game. So
yeah.
if you're playing with your grandma, then don't play this game. If you are in a specific situation where you are with people that you think can handle heavier games, then my suggestion is actually go with some heavier games. If you tell them you want to play board games and they're like, nah, I don't know, and they don't listen to the rules, no way you're going with this, right? But if you feel like they're pretty excited about it, go for something really good, and don't be afraid about it being too heavy. Well, maybe not Twilight Imperium, I guess.
No,
Somewhere there
definitely.
is a border.
Yeah. Okay, stop. You have to stop now.
Those 2-3 hours where they are building their stuff, getting really into that, actually gives them that feeling of satisfaction and something that, hooks them. And playing like quick, simple games, I find don't do that as often. It's fun, but they mostly will forget about it.
Disclaimer, this doesn't work on all non-gamers, so if you try Ark Nova with them and they're like, I hate this hobby, it's not our fault. It's his fault.
It's your fault because you didn't stop me. That's the whole video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time, right?
Yeah, and what are games that you have gotten people into gaming? Or are best picks for like non-gamer games, right?
This time, we want to ask you to send this video to one of your friends. Alright, just one.
A non-gamer? Does he have to be a non-gamer?
He might be a non-gamer or somebody who would, kind of find this useful. And maybe somebody will like our content and, subscribe and like.